Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to
Yeah.
be here with you in Zoom world.
In Zoom world and discussing astrology where it overlaps tarot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super exciting. That really lights
yeah.
me up. Even though it's a third language.
It's a third language, but you're helping us navigate it.
Yes.
I'm here to help dumb it down when I'm like, I don't know what that means.
No idea what you're saying to me. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this with you today and our collab on these awesome casting stickers that you made with our charts in the center. Yeah.
This isn't my chart, but yeah,
So,
mine's in the book, I could say.
yeah, oh, it looks great in the book.
And then on the adjacent page, I have all my notes for my cheat
Oh, that
sheet.
looks awesome for
Yeah.
the houses and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super pretty too. I like the rainbow with the rainbow chart.
It looks so much better with the rainbow chart. Like when you
Yeah.
sent that, I was just like, oh, can I have rainbow? I want
Yeah.
some.
And I like on this chart, so something that really ties in with the casting sticker is that on the chart, and it's hard to see because
Mhm,
they're little, but
mhm.
they have the decan
Oh
corresponding
yeah.
planets. So you can easily then, cross-reference
Mhm,
and pull out the cards that correlate with those decans where
mhm,
your planets are to
mhm,
better understand your chart.
mhm. Should we do a little introduction for the people who have no idea who I am or you are? Because I'll share. I'm going
Yeah,
to
they
be sharing this
probably
one.
will know who you are, but
It's true.
yeah. So I'm Erin Lento. My handle is the Witch of Saturn. Jamie and I have been friends for, I think it's going to be 20 years
Is it
this
really?
coming summer. I
Yeah.
think so. I was trying to figure it out. I think that's when
Yeah.
we first met. And so it's funny because, now we have these overlapping, like common interests when it comes to tarot and all things witchy, but like our
I
friendship didn't start that way.
Yeah, but it kind of did, but it didn't. Like I
That's
can
true.
remember tattooing you, and we were talking about astrology because I was doing your ankle, and we were talking about the zodiac signs and stuff. But at
Because
that point,
yeah,
mm,
you tattooed my chart on my ankle. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess we always have had this in
It's
common.
always been an anchor, like a touch point. But at that time in my life, I was too concerned on building the tattoo career, and now that that's waning in my life, tarot has taken center stage since like 2018 for me.
Yeah.
And it's just the overlaps. And you were having babies, and and I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
it's not my jam. So
We've definitely had like
we've had
this. Yeah. For those
we have
20
a
years.
DNA strand.
Yes, we are. We're like we're helix.
I love it.
And so now, like, we're talking every day. We're talking about like personal life stuff, but also about tarot and astrology. And so this collaboration was really this like natural
I showed
evolution.
Aaron. I've been reworking some of my tarot casting charts, and so I showed Aaron like the new spread. She goes, "Can I give you an astrologer's perspective?" And
Like,
my first, I was like, "Yeah, sure."
yeah, you were like, yeah, but I'm not gonna listen to you.
I was like, and he told me what it was. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." And then my brain was like, "It would literally take 2 seconds."
It was like a 2-minute turnaround for you going to like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that to like, oh, okay, yeah, we could do that.
We could do that. We could totally do that.
And so just to backtrack,
Mhm.
Gemini brain about who I am. So I was always, my career path was always in the yoga industry until, and even when I was, had just had my first daughter, I opened my own yoga studio. You came and did some tarot workshops there.
Mhm.
So we had some crossover that way.
But yeah.
It was fun. I had so much fun in that. And then COVID happened, and
Mhm.
I had a whole, like, that dream and my career path as I knew it came to a screeching halt,
Mhm.
kind of, like, crashed down, and I refocused on the things that I had always like really loved and wanted to learn inside and out, which was astrology and tarot. And so I did my first astrology training and have been professionally reading ever since. So really like the end of 2020 into 2021. Um,
Mhm.
that's my main jam, but also I do tarot readings and am equally as passionate about that, although I think my expertise lies more in astrology.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's how people can work with me if they want, and that's why when you showed me this the original version of the casting sticker and then this new reworked one, that's why I was like, "Hey, I think that this could
Mhm.
make more sense from an astrological standpoint." And
Mhm.
the change that we made with that was just to correlate the houses. So these are whole sign house charts. And there are
Mhm.
different house systems in astrology. And that's one of the reasons why people get so confused about astrology right from the jump, right?
Yeah.
Or even like having to learn the second language or whatever that is.
You're like, what accent am I in?
Yeah. But like the house system, it scrambles people's brains. Like which one do I use? Your chart is different
Mhm.
based on which house system you're choosing. And for me, when I found out about whole sign houses and ran a chart that way, which is where the house lines up with the full sign.
Mhm.
So if your first house, my first house is in Capricorn, so it's that entire sign is the first house. That's a whole sign house system. It's a more traditional way to look at the charts because Placidus is kind of the other house system that's
Mhm.
popular. And
There's a lot of overlaps. Yeah.
there are a lot of overlaps, but it does shift the houses depending on
Mhm.
like your location of birth.
Mhm.
It's supposedly more accurate, but
Mhm.
I don't read Placidus charts. I do consider them, but when I looked at a whole sign house
Mhm.
chart and my chart in this house system, I was like,
Mhm.
this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like it just
Well,
makes
and even when you did the little shift for mine to shift it just visually to bring this
yeah.
to have my Scorpio rising as the first house, my brain was like, oh,
Oh,
that makes way more sense than Aries. Like it just made way more sense.
it makes so much more
Yeah.
sense. And a lot
Yeah.
of so the way that the casting sticker was set up previously was that the first house was the emperor with
Hmm.
Aries, and then it just went around zodiac
Hmm.
like that, which is the way that the zodiac operates. The Aries kicks off the zodiacal year,
Hmm.
and then Pisces ends it. But there are a lot of there's a lot of methodologies out there in the astrology world that teach this system that's called the ABC system, where it
Hmm.
says Aries and the first house are the same. So if you
Hmm.
understand Aries, you understand the first house. Taurus is the second house, Gemini is the third house. And while there is a lot of overlap, so it kind of works, and it works pretty well
Hmm.
with some houses, but there's a whole like, but it actually doesn't. The houses are different from the signs.
Hmm.
Learn them as one thing. There will come a point at some point in your astrological study where you have to unlearn that.
Yeah.
And so for me to see the casting sticker set up that way, I'm like, it's not as effective as it could be as a learning tool and
Hmm.
a way to really understand your chart differently,
Hmm.
especially if you're someone who's enthusiastic about tarot and
Hmm.
knows tarot inside and out, or is even just like has a basic understanding of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can glean so much from your chart through the lens of tarot without understanding astrology. And
And
that,
that's always been my approach. Is like I understand like, like Gemini's lovers and like I understand like, okay, so Gemini, I'm a Gemini sun, the choices and like I understand that card and I understand how they correlate. But in my chart, it was always like, well, Gemini is the third house of community, and I had like
yeah.
nothing in my third house.
So you're
And I'm
like,
like,
wait,
it didn't make sense until we snapped it. And now Gemini is my eighth house.
Yes, which is
And I'm
very
like,
fun is.
oh.
Oh.
So
I was
like
so
visually
love
I can
this.
look at it and be
Yeah,
like,
that's why it was such a
yeah,
quick turnaround for
yeah,
you to be like, yes, this makes sense because you could, it just like clicked things into
yeah,
place. And
yeah.
I find that that's kind of like my journey through learning astrology is very much like that. Like, it's such a big concept. There's so much to learn. It's really, you could be, I will be studying astrology for the rest of my life and still not know it all.
Without a doubt. Yeah, this tarot is the same.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
like things, once they snap in,
Mhm.
they snap.
Mhm.
It kind of locks. You're like, oh, like light bulb. Like I get
Yeah.
that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And so this sticker is a way for people to understand and learn their
Mhm.
chart through the lens of tarot. And there are some
Mhm.
really cool ways that
Mhm.
people can do that that I'm excited
Mhm.
to kind of talk about today.
Yeah.
Is it cool if we roll into that?
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly, my introduction is I don't read tarot for people. I do it collectively. I create decks mostly and I create these tools. Like my way of understanding tarot is through creating. So
Mhm.
that's why there's been so many decks that I've made. That's why there's, that's how I created Lenormand decks. That the casting stickers were because I started making the tarot tiles and I wanted something tactical to play with, tangible and tactile to play with. Um, but you can't get a rating from me. You can support me and my work by buying the items I make. The
Mhm.
readings I give freely on my YouTube channel or on my Patreon, So that's it. Like, but you want an astrology reading or a tarot reading, you can get them from Erin because she's really good
And
at them.
you can get, if you want a tarot reading from me, you'll get it with Jamie's deck because
There you go, perfect.
because I exclusively use,
Mhm,
so this is my, you know that this is my favorite
mhm.
deck.
Yeah.
And
The
I
second edition will be here soon.
the second edition will replace this one because of the cardstock difference.
Mhm,
I know
mhm,
that already. But the RWS redo, I love so much because of a couple things. And I just put this together like last week. I was like, not why do I love this deck so much, but I was like, oh, one of the reasons I love this deck so much for professional readings is because there's no titles on it.
mhm,
It's just the imagery.
mhm,
And because it's impossible to get a one reading with me without kind of bringing in something from the other with tarot and astrology. So this deck having the decanic
mhm,
representations in the background of every card is like it was made for me because
mhm.
I want to, I don't want to have to remember that. Like
Right.
it's a lot
It's
of
a cheat
work
sheet. Yeah.
to,
And that's why I added them there
yes, because it is a
because
subtle cheat
I
sheet.
was learning, like, so the tarot tiles, when they first originated with my Sawyer's Path deck, I would burn the decans on the back of each one.
Mhm.
That's how those started. I was trying to learn the astrology correspondences with them. So to be able to have them at this small size with the thing on the back, I was like, oh, it's a quick cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to be like, oh, where's my cheat sheet? And I don't want to remember everything. Like I can tell you that if it's swords, it's in an air sign,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you which one. Over time, I've learned, but
It's just one
still
more
don't
thing
know them
that
all.
like work smarter, not harder,
Right. Right.
right? Like I don't want to have to
Mhm.
access, yeah, I have that data bank in my
Yeah.
Gemini brain, but like I don't want to have to do the work to go digging through it if it can be right here in front of me. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's so much better. So that is, so in all of my professional readings, this is the only deck I'm using
Nice.
because not having the titles on the cards helps me be more intuitive
Hmm.
to read the pictures of what the cards
Hmm.
show me and then to have the astrology in there is like chef's kiss. So
Yeah.
and I also love that it makes natural sense that this is the deck that's on the sticker because of that.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Do you
So
want me to share my screen?
yeah,
I have my iPad and I have your chart. I can pull that up that way if you want to speak from your chart, or how do you want to,
you can pull up my chart.
because
I think
that'll be easier.
yeah, I
So
think
this
that
is
that'll be
The sticker will look like this depending on what yours, if you decide to get one, this is what it is. I just have the link to these books in the listing. They fit perfectly in these particular books. Erin doesn't have hers in a book yet, so you don't need a book.
Not
I
in my
just
book,
like,
but I
yeah,
do have the
yeah.
book.
Um, but since I have hers, I will pull hers up so that the
Yeah, and
continuity is.
wait, Jamie, hold yours up one more real quick. So you
Mhm,
can see the difference. Like, here's my first house. Put your finger on your first house. Right there. So you can see Jamie is a Scorpio rising, so the death card starts her house system, starts her chart. I'm a Capricorn rising, so the devil starts my
mhm.
house system. So when you order the casting sticker, you'll get your unique chart that I'll run and pull for you. And then Jamie formats it and spins the wheels so that the proper card lines up with the signs in your whole sign house chart. So then it's like, well, what do you do with this? Well, it's nice to have your
Mhm.
chart in this beautiful piece of art. That's like the first perk that you could order it just for that. You could just even then kind of look at this and see where is there a lot of where are there a lot of planets, right? Like you don't have to understand astrology at all to be able to see that there's some concentrations of planets in certain signs. And then you could think about that tarot card and how that shows up in your life. The other things that you could look at having no astrological knowledge and glean a lot from would be your rising sign. So that's going to be that first card where there's a little AS. That's your ascendant sign. So your ascendant is the part of the horizon, the part of the, let's say it a different way. The the sign in the sky that was coming up over the horizon at your exact day, time, and location of birth. So when you were born, if you were looking at the eastern horizon, the part of the sky ruled by, for me, it was Capricorn, is what was rising. So that's your ascendant. In astrology, this is called your big three, the three placements that have the strongest energy for you most of the time. There are caveats to that. But so the big three is your rising, and your ascendant or your rising is how you the filter, the lens through which you view the world and the world views you. So it's kind of like our filter, our perspective, or things that we learned in childhood on like how to navigate our world. So it's a very strong energy. And it's the ascendant always starts the first house. The first house is you. It's your physical body. It's called the helm. It's the wheel of the ship that you're steering. And so the first house is really, really important. And that's why it matters what time you were born because you can't determine your ascendant without knowing your exact time and location of birth. You can know where a lot of the planets were just from the day that you were born, but your ascendant is very specific and it sets the rest of the houses, it places the rest of the houses. So without that, you lose
There we go.
a lot of context.
My brain was trying to do it upside down and backwards. I was like, what is it
Yeah,
doing?
like I'm not gonna be able to do that. So then the other thing that you'll want to take note of is your sun sign, which most people know. Most people know their sun sign. They're like, I'm a Taurus, right? And you would find that if Jamie, you want to point to it, it's a
Yeah.
circle with a little dot in the center. Yep. So that's the sun. So you could find that in your chart and see that the sun is in like for Jamie, for me, I'm like for Jamie, for me, I'm like, wait, that's my chart.
That's your chart.
Get with it.
All eyes on you.
So you see that my sun is in the sign of Taurus and we have the Hierophant there. So just knowing that, I can kind of meditate on the meaning of the Hierophant or my understanding of that card and how it represents the sign of Taurus and what that means in terms of the sun is what lights you up, what illuminates in your life, the your personality and how you shine out in the world. It's your ability to lead. It also has a health emphasis as well as the first house and can sometimes represent the father. There's a lot of different significations for all of the planets, but when we're talking about the big three, I kind of like to think about it like the ascendant is your perspective and your filter, whereas the sun is this innate personality and what makes you shine. And then the moon, which is the third part of the big three, is your internal world. It's your emotional self. It's who you are when no one's looking. It's kind of the part of you that's a little more hidden, unless you are like us and have the moon in the first house, and then it is impossible to hide how you feel and you have absolutely no poker face and it can be a problem.
I'm cracking up. I'm thinking of all the times we've been in public spaces and Erin's Capricorn is on full display of
Oh my
just like
God, I just
calling.
feel it. I feel my face start to morph. I'm like, stop.
I think one of my favorite memories with you is when me, you, and Steph were all in Vegas and we got into the elevator and some dude just started saying something and Erin just put him straight in his place.
I just can't help it sometimes. Oh,
I was like, but mine, I was like, I'm like, I could never.
I could.
You could and you did. It was so funny.
Oh, it gets me in trouble sometimes. So, but yeah, the Capricorn moon in the first house does not mess around. You see, what you see
And
is what.
also, you know what's really funny, and this is something like totally going off of not like we have a script, but apparently I have a type of
Yeah, you
person.
do.
Like Erin has major Capricorn energy with her Taurus. Jenna and people who know me know that me and Jenna kind of come hand in hand with things. She's a moonlit fae. Jenna has got Capricorn, and then she's Gemini and Cancer, her big three. My husband is Cancer and Gemini and Capricorn, his big three. My other longtime friend Rachel is Taurus. I can't remember her big three, but there I have a type.
And I have to tell you that the fact that I have the moon in the first house, pretty, it's not the closest conjunction, but it's close enough to my ascendant that it brings in a Cancer energy into who I am. So it's like it just fits. Like Jamie does have an
Them's my peeps.
astrological type.
Those are my people.
She likes what she likes.
I like what I like.
So now with this information, you can then look more closely at your chart and see which decan each of those placements falls into, right? So my ascendant is 5 degrees of Capricorn, and each sign is 30 degrees and is split into three 10-degree sections. So 0 to 9 degrees will always be the first decan of the sign. 10 to 19 is the second, and 20 to 29 is the third. So it is not the easiest thing to see on the chart, but you would just go by the numbers. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of good charts and references out there that will show you the decanic, the breakdown and will can help you reference those numbers. But so the fact that I have the ascendant at 5 degrees of Capricorn puts it in the first decan of Capricorn, which is always going to be. So here's a way to remember easily at least the numbers of the cards, right? All of the cardinal signs, which are Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra, those signs, cardinal energy starts something. It starts the season. It brings in spring, it brings in fall. It initiates, right? So that's always going to be the 2, 3, and 4 cards of the tarot because the
Mhm.
aces aren't part of this. So it's the 3 numbers that start the suit. So Capricorn is going to be 2, 3, and 4 of Pentacles because it's an earth sign. Aries, the first decan, 2, 3, and 4 of the Emperor of the fire signs, right?
Mhm.
which is wands. There we go. I got it out. The
You're
same
fine.
thing with
You're like the
Cancer,
hot stuff, the hot.
2, 3, and 4 of cups. For Libra, 2, 3, and 4 of swords. So we have the overlap of the elements and the first decan, which is cardinal. So the cardinal signs
Mhm.
are always going to be 2, 3, and 4. The fixed signs are going to be so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then the
Mhm.
mutable signs are 8, 9, and 10.
Mhm.
So that's how the decans break down. And then it's just coordinating either cardinal, mutable, cardinal, fixed, and mutable,
Mhm.
which is the beginning of the season, the height of the season, are the
Mhm.
fixed signs, where it's like Taurus is the height of spring. It is what it
Mhm.
is. Fixed signs don't like to move, they're stubborn
Right.
because they are what they are. And then mutable is the end of the season, the letting go and the transition that has to happen. Like right now, we can see here in the Northeast, we're in Virgo season, which is the
Mhm.
end of summer as
Mhm.
we start to wrap down and move into then the initiation of fall
Mhm.
with Libra season. So
Mhm.
I found that learning astrology through the lens of the seasons is like a really helpful way to understand the energy of the cards.
Mhm.
So now let's go back to that first decan of Capricorn, which is Jupiter ruled. So you'll see on my chart that the 3 decans of Capricorn are ruled by Jupiter, Mars, and then the Sun. So 2 of Pentacles is Jupiter in Capricorn. 3 of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn. 4 of Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn. Those are the
Mhm.
astrological significations, correspondences with the tarot.
I love that it has that right there. So like you can at a quick glance see that your moon is in Capricorn. Like your
You
moon
can
is in the
see
sun, so it's in the
it's
last
not
one.
though. It's
Oh, it's not.
actually no, it's in Mars
Oh, because it says 17
17. You
degrees.
have to go
Yeah.
on the number versus that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to visually see it. You have to go by the
Mhm.
number. But that's why I run charts like this with,
Mhm.
so even when I'm working with clients, I can
Mhm.
quick reference that like in my head. I can see, I can
You
flash
know how,
like the
yeah.
tarot card.
Mhm.
And I'll even do that like with these upcoming eclipses that are
Mhm.
happening this weekend and then in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, what card are these happening in?
Mhm.
So that we
Which
know.
one is this Sunday? What is it in?
The Sunday, it is, so that one is in Virgo. It's nine of Pentacles.
That's right.
No, no,
You,
no. Is it? Yeah,
I
nine
think
of
so, because that's
Pentacles.
what I wrote down during my reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Because I
the
was like, is that just for me? And you're like, no, it's for
no, the
everybody.
first one's in Pisces.
Mhm.
Jupiter and Pisces, Nine of Cups. I'll
Mhm.
have to pull my notes because
Yeah.
my brain, I might have it right here. Let me see. Because I think I still have your chart. Yeah. So the first one is Nine of Cups. That's this
Mhm.
Sunday, the 7th.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep. And then the 21st, the solar eclipse is 10 of
It's
Pentacles.
10 of Pentacles. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, is that just for me? Because I like 9 of Cups. And you're like,
Yeah,
no,
like,
it's
oh,
for
that's good.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's for everybody. Sorry, Jamie.
Very selfish of me.
Like you're very special, but not that special.
Have
So
your breaks, girl. Yeah, I get it.
so with your own chart, like I can
Mhm.
say, all right, so my ascendant, which there's not a tarot card that correlates with your ascendant, like there is with the moon, right? We know the moon
Mhm.
is the high priestess
Mhm.
and the sun is the sun card, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing for that with the ascendant, but you can still understand a lot about yourself to say like, okay, I'm gonna pull out. So the devil is Capricorn,
Mhm.
right? And then that first decan is Two of Pentacles. So, what does that say about me in the way that I view the world? To have these 2 cards, Two of Pentacles and the Devil, working together, right? To view the world this way. And just to share my personal take on it, like my chart and my energy has been my whole life about seeking balance. I have a placement in my chart that's really strong opposition that has what's called mutual reception, and is this is where it's another language, and
Mhm.
it's one of the final dispositors in my chart, which means all
Mhm.
the energy comes back to this need for balance, right? That's like working together, but also challenging and difficult. And a lot of that work in finding balance has been like breaking these past patterns,
Mhm.
breaking my own chains and the cycles that I've been stuck in,
Mhm.
working through that in order to find more balance is just an innate part of who I am. So just by looking at these two cards, you can see that, right? Like as a
Mhm.
tarot reader, you can see that correlation with these two cards
Mhm.
together. And then you can then understand like, oh, I understand my ascendant more, right? From working with these
Mhm.
cards. Now, if we stay in my first house and move to the moon, we would keep the devil card out because we're still in Capricorn. We would then pull out the high priestess because this is the moon. So I have my moon in Capricorn, and it is in the second decan, which is Three of Pentacles. So when we
Oh,
look
so you would
at,
take all three.
you would take
Mhm.
out all three to understand this. Or if you're working with the casting sticker, you don't really
Mhm.
have to pull out the devil because you could just line these up.
Because it's already in the house of
It's
the
already
devil,
in there,
basically.
so you could just even put these here and look
Mhm.
at it. But I would suggest if you're getting the casting sticker to do this with your whole chart, to pull out each planet, the card that correlates to that planet, and then the decan that it's in, pull that card and just like spread it out like a big, like you're doing this big spread.
Clear your table, you know?
Yeah, like line it all up and just meditate on it and get like a little deeper into like, oh, well, what could that mean? You know, use your skills as a tarot reader or enthusiast to then, you know, not pay attention to any of the foreign language that is astrology and instead take what you know, your inner knowledge already, and like see, okay, what about me is represented in these cards?
That
So,
was how I first I was trying to see if I have a broken deck up here. Maybe this has it. That was how I first learned, and even though it was quote unquote not correct, um, or it was in the ABC method, was like to look at it like here's the devil's house,
mhm.
and then we've got who's showing up. And for me, it was like going also with the planets because I was like, okay, well, if you, so, like what kind of house party would these
Yeah, what kind of party?
have? Like, am I cleaning up? Like, am I like, oh God, they brought that person again? Like I don't have the two of this is like I said, this is a broken deck. Um, and it helped me to kind of understand it to that degree, but I really like this of actually pulling the decans because I never did that. I only
Yeah,
did
you
like
can even take Two of Pentacles out of this one if we're just considering my moon placement. It would just
mhm,
be these three. And then you see that, like, so for me in my work, and a key part of who I am, and something that I'm like seriously obsessed with the devil is like honing my intuition and
mhm,
working with working with it with other people as a tarot reader, or like loving to do things like this and collaborate with my, colleagues and friends. Um,
mhm,
so just understanding that this is a key, also something that is very important to me and difficult when it doesn't happen is accomplishment, getting things
mhm,
done. being productive,
Mhm.
productivity, I think like really brings me this inner emotional fulfillment. So your moon
Mhm.
is the things that like satisfy you on a deep emotional level with the high
Mhm.
priestess, like that inner realm of yourself. And
Mhm.
for me, it's very hard, right? We have that devil
Yeah.
energy when like Three of Pentacles stuff is not happening. Is
Right.
getting
Like
done.
when the people aren't pulling their weight or when they're not
Yes.
doing the task that they're supposed to be doing. And it's like,
Yes.
it's frustrating. So like for those who might feel a little lost, we have the devil is like, this is their house. And then we've got the moon here, and then this is how her moon shows up in the world.
Yep.
Right? That's a fair assessment? So the
Yes.
decan ties into the planetary aspect of the
Yep.
moon. I like that.
Yeah, so you're kind of like it's like these layers, right, of the
So the
energy.
devil's like, okay, don't mess it up.
The devil is a perfectionist at times.
Devil's in the details. Like yesterday, I was just paper errands.
Yeah, yesterday when I was doing like this,
Sorry,
my first,
y'all.
what's that?
I said, sorry, y'all, we're going on a rave.
Yeah. Well, yesterday I was doing this, my first deck modification, and I like totally screwed up this card. And I was texting Jamie, like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, it's paper and ink. Like, you need to calm down.
It's just paper. Let's see.
But it's here's why it's hard for me. So then the other part of my chart that I thought would be interesting to pull out is this is like the strongest planetary energy in my chart is my Gemini Mercury.
Okay.
And so that's over in my sixth house. So then if you start learning the astrological house significations and you get a cheat sheet of that when you order this sticker, then you can start to add on a fourth layer, right? Because the sixth house rules our day-to-day work environments. It rules service, it rules health, it rules our pets. Um, but the way that it really shows up as like daily work very strongly, daily work and health, I would say, are the two strongest significations of that. And so so Gemini is the lovers. So we pull out that card, right? And then Mercury is the magician. So we pull out that card. And then we look at the decan. We say, okay, 12 degrees. And there is like a little line there, if you look really closely, that
You can see
shows
it, right?
that in that it's easier to see when there's only one planet in the house, right? Like
Right.
my
See that
first
line right
house
there?
has a lot going on.
Yeah.
So it becomes the symbols don't line up with the house like this does really nicely. Here you can see
Yeah.
like Mercury in that second Mars ruled decan, right? So even just knowing that, like, okay, this is a Mars ruled decan in Gemini. Like,
And what did we say that what were the break? I'm gonna try and guess. What were the breakdowns? So it's 30. So it's 1 through 10 is the first three.
1 through 9.
1 through 9. Okay.
And
So
10 is
your
the one,
second decan is these within these three cards.
which is nope, swords.
Swords. Duh.
Gemini's the air.
We're in Gemini. I saw that Mars energy and I was like, oh,
It's
that's it.
air, it's an air sign, so it's swords, and it's mutable,
Yeah,
so it's the end of the cards. It's the last
I'm
three cards in the sword suit.
I'm being silly. Okay, let's see.
No, this
So
is
we're
good.
in
This
air.
is how you learn. You've got to like make it make sense, right?
So it's in 12 degrees. So it's within the 4, 5, 6 of swords.
8, 9, 10. Because
8,
it's
9,
as
10.
mutable as the end of
Oh,
the
the mutable Gemini. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We
Gemini
were talking. I already know the answer to this.
you do. So the three decans of Gemini in the tarot are 8, 9, and 10 of swords.
Yeah.
And so for me, it is, yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, it would be the 1, 2, 3 if it was Libra.
Cardinal area. Yep. You got
Yeah,
it. It'd be 2, 3, 4 because there's no
two,
one.
three, four.
So one is
Yeah, yeah. One is the aces.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
Okay.
why it does take a minute. It's going to take a while. It's going to require some you're going to have to use your
There's
brain.
no shade in having a cheat sheet.
No, there's not. But there is a way to learn it so that it makes sense. And I think that for me, it's that. It's like, okay, what's the element here? Gemini's an air sign. We know we're doing swords. Gemini's a mutable sign. We know it's at
See if
the
I can
end,
focus this in.
right? So just break it down like that. Like,
Yeah, I have it right there. I literally have it on the card.
yeah, and it's right there. So get the pre-order.
Yeah, it's coming, coming. The they should be here next week. I'm excited.
Stay tuned. I'm excited. I want it now. I'm like
I
impatient.
know, me
It's my
too.
that's my devil, the first house. It's like, give it to me now. There's no
I want it yesterday. I have
no
that
waiting.
tendency.
All
So
right.
then when
So
you're sun, we have these three going on.
this is for my Mercury placement.
Oh,
And
Mercury
I
placement, yeah.
I feel like so called out by this right now. It's all right. So the lovers, what do we know about the lovers, right? There's duality. That's Gemini, the twins. There's two
Mhm.
sides. That's I'm always like, this is what I say. I'm always like, there's two people living in my head, and like one of them is a bitch. And that
Ah,
is what I'm
one of them.
constantly dealing with.
One of them.
One of them. There's like
Yeah.
an angel and a devil, and like there's just this duality to my nature where I'm always looking at both sides of something. I'm always multitasking. It's just like mad Gemini energy in my
Mhm.
head. And we see that in the lovers. There's a choice
Mhm.
to be made. There's good and bad. There's male and female. There's this uniting of
Mhm.
um,
Like
dual.
passive and active energies. We have destruction over here. We have the growth over here.
Yes,
There's a
all
lot going on.
all of that.
All
So
of it.
that's Gemini. And if you
Hmm.
know a Gemini, you'll be like, oh yeah. Like when I told my mom, because my mom doesn't know that much about astrology, when I told her, because obviously she knows I'm a Taurus sun, I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I have Mercury and Gemini. And she went, oh, that makes so much sense. It was like
right.
not a good reaction. She was like, oh my
But is it my
God.
Mercury is also in Gemini?
No, your Mercury's in Taurus and your sun is in
Oh,
Gemini.
my sun's in
So
Gemini.
we're like same energy, but flipped.
Flipped, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas my bitch is a little bit suppressed, but it comes out with a sting.
Yes, because of the Scorpio
It's
first house and the Scorpio moon.
it's very bitey when it comes out. Most
Yeah.
people like I say that to Jenna all the time. I'm like, people think I'm really nice and maybe even a pushover at times, but I'm a terrible person when I need to be.
Well, that's because you're like the scorpion hiding under the rock, and like nobody's gonna get stung unless they come looking for it or
Yeah,
sting
yeah, yeah.
you. You know, you're not just like attack. Like most of the time, you won't even
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Most of the time you won't. My stinger is there. It's just. And of
This is
course it's not like it comes out the worst obviously on the people who I care most about. And then
because
I
we're under the
have to do I
rock.
have to do a lot of cleanup.
We're under the rock. It's fine. We love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Versus my
you have your
first house is the devil, so it's
yeah.
not under a rock. Okay, so we have the
Same.
lovers, so we can
Mhm.
understand the Gemini energy through that. And then we have Mercury is the magician. It's making magic. It's got all of the tools. It's also the trickster, right? We have like the workings of our mind and our ability to manifest and create what we want to see out in the world all within us in the magician, right? In our Mercury placement. And so everyone's Mercury is going to be the magician. So you can
Mhm.
just understand a lot about Mercury and communication and commerce and thought processes and creativity and communication just through the lens of the magician, right?
Mhm.
And everyone who has Mercury in Gemini is going to have the magician in the lovers. And then
Mhm.
you add in the decanic layer, which for me, lucky me, is 9 of swords. right? So it is this, there's a lot of work that has to be done for me to overcome my own anxieties, right? Like that thought process can spiral and kind of
Mhm.
create things and worries in the dark that actually don't exist in the daylight. And so how do I then work with this on like a daily basis? But what's interesting to me is that because all of this resides in my sixth house of daily work, literally everything that I do is helping people find more unity and balance through my teaching and communication to help ease anxiety and suffering. Because I have a background, I'm a yoga teacher. I did
Mhm.
health coaching. Now I
Yeah.
validate people with astrology and tarot and use all of those tools that I've cultivated in my other career paths all come into my readings. So
I
you
also see this as being able to, because you do have a lot of life experience other than just your yoga and your coaching and all that. I see this as somebody who can kind of see what's coming before the person who they're trying to coach sees it. And that's why it's kind of like, oh, geez, like this again, like I've seen this, you know. Well, it's
I
like that spiral, you know. It's like when I see this card, I think about like there's 9 things that are bothering me, but I make lists so that I can
Mhm.
cross them out so that way I can like get through them because they're just
I love a list. Before we started recording, I'm like, so what are we going to talk about? I'm ready to make a list. Jamie's like, there's going to be no list.
ah, there can be a list. We'll probably go off track.
She's like, if you really need one, you can make one.
But it's like that mental spiral. I think about in Pocket of Peers, the Tony Savory is who I chose, you know, who's that one. And it's them sitting there like this, like just kind of like, oh geez, and just astrology all in the background. And when I showed them the card for it, Tony goes, holy crap, that is 9 of Swords for me, because I know nothing about astrology. And that's my brain goes into a spiral whenever people start talking about astrology. And then she goes, but then she proceeds to talk to me about quantum physics.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Okay.
what? Huh?
And that too, like, I'm glad that you just said that because I just always want to be learning. Like, I want all the information. Like,
Right.
give me all of the swords. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want to know all of that.
But it's too
So,
much to digest at times.
all the time.
Right. So that's why it's kind of funny, like as you're, you know, as we're embarking on this series, because I imagine that this isn't going to be a one-off, because you and I could probably pick a house and just go from there for like
Yeah.
each, we should do that. Um, you get really into your groove and start talking, and I'm the same way with certain things like that, where I'm like, wait. They don't know everything I know about this. So how do we dumb it down? So I always joke with Aaron, like, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know how to do this, you know.
Explain it to me
Just
like
dumb
I
it down, and then it comes out to you got to do it today.
yeah,
Oh,
that was
okay.
literally yesterday.
That was
Like, okay,
literally
forget everything I
yesterday.
just said. Just do it today instead tomorrow. Today's better.
Our group text was awesome.
It
We're like,
really was. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's how I would say to start
Let me see if I can
working
stop
with
sharing.
your chart with the tarot astrology crossover. Just pick a couple planets, pick one house, start to pull out the cards. You know,
Mhm.
if you're not sure if you're doing it right, message me, email me.
Yeah,
Happily, if you're ordering the sticker, I have your chart at my fingertips. I can easily tell you, like, yes, those you're doing it right. If you feel confused, that's no problem at all. But I love the multifaceted nature of both of these arts of tarot and of
mhm.
astrology, and how you can just look at things from a different perspective. You can always learn a different aspect of the card. I always like in my readings, I'll explain it to people like this crystal that Jamie gave me that has like
Is
each,
that the one that has the Virgin Mary in it?
yes. And look, like there's a different side, right? A
Hmm.
different facet to every there's so many different ways, perspectives that you can look and understand these archetypes, right? Because
Mhm,
that's what they are,
mhm,
tarot and astrology. And they're these overarching umbrellas that then
mhm.
things get filtered down through. And this is a really cool way to understand your chart and the crossover between the two.
I think for me, like I know before I started learning how, when I was first into tarot, actually my first deck was the Brian Froud Fairy Oracle.
Mm.
And then my first tarot deck was Morgan Greer. And before I started reading any books on tarot, I felt more free. Like I
Mm.
felt more intuitive because I'm the kind of person, once I start learning the rules, I'm a rule follower. Maybe
Yeah.
that's that Mercury in Taurus, right? Like I'm like, well, this has to be the rules.
Yes.
So the tarot casting has come about because I'm like, well, you can tell me the rules, but I'm going to bring in Oracle. I'm going to bring in Lenormand. I'm going to bring in astrology so that we have a bigger conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like my cheat code on how to get out of the rules that were written by people 100 years ago and just passed down and passed down. And so there is something to do with that, but it helps me get back into my intuition. Like I have to confuse myself so much with everything I know that I can tap back into my intuition.
I know exactly what you're talking about with that. And that is like what I realized why I love to read with this deck because just having the magician on a card, when my brain processes the words and I go into a logical
Mhm.
database of all of the things that I've learned about what the magician card means.
That's I don't like deck. I mean, I love that they exist. I love that they exist for the people who need them, but I do not like decks that have keywords on them because my brain goes, "Oh, that's what that means."
Yeah. See, I do like that just for fun, but
Mhm,
it's like a very specific
mhm.
purpose for me, a
Yeah.
keyword deck. But when it comes to like really wanting to tap into my intuition and to see the picture that's being
Mhm,
painted by the tarot,
mhm.
I like not having I like just to see the images.
Well, and that's, I mean, Sawyer's Path has no words on it. It just has Roman numerals for the major arcana. And I don't know. I don't have the numbers on the cards because I'm like, if there's 6 cups, you can count. There's 6 cups. Like 3 cups is three of cups, like and it was my first deck. So I made it because I was trying to learn.
Yeah.
No borders, no nothing. Some of my previous decks, like we were talking about with the felt tarot, the borders actually help.
Yeah, you use them as an extra tool.
They're an extra tool because
They're
the
an extra
color blocking,
yeah.
you
Yes.
know. But like the words, I try and keep personally, I keep the words like the royals or king, queen, page, and knight. They're not meant to be gendered. They can be whoever, whatever they want. But that way, when I'm in that creative, like intuitive flow, I don't have to be like, what is the master of cups, and no shade on people who do that. It messes with the way my brain processes information. Because now I'm going, instead of going, oh, well, master, I could like use that word as it, my brain's like, but is it the king or is it the knight or is it the queen? I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. You have to like then stop. It's almost like you have to
Mhm.
stop to like configure
Yeah.
where you are in
Yeah.
space before you can start working again. And that's, another thing that I think is a good exercise with
Mhm.
this, with like pulling out the
Mhm.
cards of the planets and the decans and the
Mhm.
signs, is because it will get you more into your intuition,
Mhm.
especially if you don't have an understanding of astrology. Then it's almost like an advantage in this case
Mhm.
because you can really just do a reading for
Mhm.
yourself from the tarot cards and based on your because the thing about astrology that you have to remember is that you've been working with the energy in your chart since you took your first breath.
Mhm.
It's the blueprint, the energetic planetary blueprint that I believe we had some part in signing up
Mhm.
for, but that's just me.
Mhm.
But this energy and why astrology readings are so accurate
Mhm.
is because you know it. Like you, as an
Yeah.
astrologer, I can read your chart and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she said things that were so right on. It's because that energy is, I'm 43. I've been dealing with the energy of Capricorn in the first house for 43 years.
Right.
And whether I know astrology or not, I know myself and
Right.
my own experience. And so you can take that, your own inner knowing, which is what, tarot is all about, is exploring yourself and your connection with the universe and communicating through this, archetypal imagery as a way to better understand you and your world and other people. And so you can do the same thing in understanding yourself without having to know the
Mhm.
Spanish that is
Yeah, this
astrology.
I don't speak Spanish. Well, and that's it's funny, like another one of our friends, like they're on their own mystical journey, and while they use a deck, she's always like, "Can you tell me what it means?" I'm like, "You could tell you what it means. Like you can read those cards. Like you don't need to know my meanings. Like you literally can look at the pictures and whatever pops up, that's your intuitive hit." So that's when I'm like, "Oh, before I started learning the books, like that was, you know,
Like, bring me back. Bring me
I
back.
mean, I get there. I do my workarounds.
Yeah,
Well, but the workarounds are what has made this whole creative world for me, which I love.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that and, we know where it is in your chart. I'm like, "You see that right there? That's that creative powerhouse."
It's
Just
like that's your sixth house with your Aries and Venus. And
yes.
then I get mad when people don't get it as fast as I do. And when you said that, like I had like kind of people dabble in reading my charts, but I'd never had somebody read my chart like until you did last year. And I started to notice like I get very short with like my mom when I'm trying to show her something creative. And I'm like, how do you not just get it? Like I'm your daughter. Like like and I get mad when she doesn't when I have to show her step by step by step. And then I'm going, she processes differently.
Yeah.
Like
Not everyone is like us.
I've had to learn to be like, okay, here's this little bite-sized thing. Now let's walk through. So like whenever I have to help her with like a computer thing, I'm like, show me your screen. Like, what are we working with? What are we doing?
Lord help anyone who has to walk a boomer through a computer thing. It is. And
Well,
that can
I
also
used to I used to laugh at Tim because he's like that with his parents. Like he'd be like, okay, now what does your screen say? Like on their phone. And I'm like, they're smart. He's like, they don't understand this. I was like,
no, 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 no. With this, they're not.
they're not smart with this. It's not that it's just it's so fast. And that's what the thing like my mom has really helped me understand is it's so fast. And we've grown up with this speed, this fastness,
Yeah.
so our brains, it could also be a New Jersey thing. Our brains just really calculate fast talking, fast moving, fast, fast, fast. So when I'm like, okay, do that, she's like, wait, I'm still on the first step and I'm
Yeah,
five and a
back it
half,
up. Slow
back
it
it
down.
up, back it up. Yeah,
To practice for all of us.
it is.
Slow it down.
Slow down.
Take a breath, right?
This has been so fun.
It has been. Thank you so much for having me. And I love collaborating with you on
Yeah.
this. I mean, I could just talk about it forever. So
Well, maybe we pick like so today we focused mostly on the first house and then we touched on your Mercury. So the next we can pick another house and focus
yeah, I'll have to think
on
about it. I think it might
yeah.
be cool to just kind of like break down for people what
Mhm.
the different houses are. Maybe
Mhm.
even
Like
people
we do
who
a series or something.
or I even wonder if people who are buying the casting stickers, like, would want us to talk about their first house or something.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, like, if people
Like
have
if people want like a
want
little chat link or something, yeah.
if they want to let us use their chart as example charts, there's a lot of different ways we could do it, so we'll have to do some,
Brainstorming.
yes.
Maybe we do have lunch next week, so.
Yes, we will definitely be brainstorming. Alright. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, y'all. Remember to follow us in all the places.
Yes, so where can people find you?
I am Jamie Sawyer, Sawyer, like Tom Sawyer, 336.com. And I'm also that on Instagram. So
My website is erinlento.com, and on Instagram and YouTube, I'm at The Witch of Saturn, and we'll link all that.
Yeah, it'll be linked.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.